Hello and welcome to this week's edition of CTN Community Update. For the past 31 years, Toys for Joy has been making the holidays a little brighter for local families in need. CTN's Jordan Rylance takes us to this week's toy distribution at the Anoka Armory.
In this season of giving,
does your son have a bike by chance?
No.
The unexpected surprises can mean the most.
Would he like one for Christmas?
Yes.
Every December, the Toys for Joy Committee gets to see their year-round work pay off on the faces of those they help.
Have a great Christmas.
It helps me around Christmas time to get a few extra presents for the kids and to make sure they have a good Christmas.
Toys for Joy was given 100 bikes from Bikes for Kids, 50 from Toys for Tots, and about a dozen from donations.
It's fun to give that little miscellaneous gift that they weren't even expecting.
Each year, Toys for Joy impacts more than 4,000 children from over 1,000 local families.
Well, I was an annual sponsor, and then I wanted to become more involved because it's part of the same community that I live in, with northern Anoka County. And I just see how every dollar and every hour that goes into it just impacts people in the area that I live.
With all the donations staying local, organizers are able to share in the joy of the Christmas season.
I went up to Dad and asked if the 6-year-old would like the bike, and he said yes. He was at a loss for words and started crying. I already cry when the moms cry. You get a dad crying. Oh my goodness, it took me a couple minutes to piece myself back together.
Making Christmas a little more merry in Anoka County.
I think he's gonna love it.
For CTN Community Update, I'm Jordan Rylance.
In addition to toys, the Toys for Joy organization supplies families with household products and food items. Also this week, members of the Coon Rapids Police and Fire Departments hand-delivered gifts to homes on behalf of Toys for Joy. Another toy distribution this week, this one involving Toys for Tots. The Mission for Evangelism and Holistic Development, or MEHD, along with the House of Christ Assembly Church in Coon Rapids, distributed toys to nearly 300 families in need.
We have people who believe in giving back to community. So my wife and I, our whole life have been to give back to community. It brings me more joy to give back to community. I find satisfaction in it.
MEHD is a volunteer-based organization, and all the operation costs come directly from the pastor and his wife. A pedestrian bridge in the southern part of the city has undergone a thorough inspection after corrosion was discovered about a month ago. The 50-foot-long steel bridge spans Pleasure Creek on the north side of Coon Rapids Boulevard, just west of Springbrook Drive. The corrosion, believed to be caused by road salt during the winter, was discovered when crews were installing new LED streetlights. Inspectors say the bridge is structurally sound for pedestrians, but no motorized traffic is allowed, including snowplows. Next spring, a new sidewalk is expected to be installed on the south side of Coon Rapids Boulevard. The bridge will then be taken out of service, and a new plan for pedestrian access will be developed for the north side of the roadway. Plans for a new Honda dealership in Coon Rapids are once again moving forward after the project hit a small bump in the road. This week, the Coon Rapids City Council approved revised building elevations for the dealership, which is planning to construct a 56,000 square foot building with nearly 800 spaces for inventory in the Gateway Commerce Center off Highway 10 and Hanson Boulevard. Last month, the Planning Commission rejected revised building elevations because they eliminated some blue panels and reduced the amount of stone on the building. Honda appealed the decision to the City Council, but brought back a plan closer to the one previously approved last summer. Construction is expected to begin next year. Plans are moving forward for the rehabilitation of the Hanson Boulevard Water Tower. On Tuesday night, the City Council awarded the contract for the project to McGuire Iron Incorporated in the amount of $224,000. Chipping and peeling paint is forcing the city to repaint the water tower. The rehabilitation work should add another 10 to 12 years to the surface life expectancy. The project is expected to start in May and take about 6 weeks to complete. The Coon Rapids Police introduced 2 new members of the department this week.
I, Stephen Jurdy, do solemnly swear.
I, Stephen Jurdy, do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
Stephen Jurdy was one of 2 officers sworn into office during Tuesday night's City Council meeting. Jurdy grew up in the West Metro and served in the Minnesota Army National Guard before becoming a detention deputy in Hennepin County. The other new officer is Eric Burns, who grew up in the South Metro and worked in the environmental sciences field before developing a passion for police work. Burns has been a community service officer in Coon Rapids since 2016. Both men have been doing field training work since July. Sand Creek Park will be hosting family skate nights this winter. The first one of the season is coming up on Thursday, December 28th from 5 to 8:30 p.m. Sand Creek has a full-sized hockey rink, an open pleasure skating rink, and brand new warming house facilities. Concessions will also be available for purchase. The family skate nights are planned every Thursday through the middle of February, weather permitting. Before we sign off for 2017, I want to answer the most common question I get these days. How's Karen? It's been just over a year since my TV partner, Karen Savanich, suffered a seizure while working at her other job. The seizure led to the discovery that she had brain cancer. I recently sat down with Karen to get an update on how things are going.
I just went to work. I did have some symptoms right before the seizure happened. And then I thought I was having a stroke, just because my mom had a stroke the week before. And I thought it was kind of the same symptoms, but I didn't really know. And by the time I realized something was going on, by that time I had hit the floor. And
November 16th, 2016, a day that changed life for Karen as she knew it. Following the seizure, Karen was rushed to Unity Hospital in Fridley and later transferred to Mercy Hospital in Coon Rapids, where surgery was suggested to remove a mass on her brain.
the craniotomy that I survived puts you in a vice on your head, and that's still pretty sore. That might never go away, but at least they hit the spot.
Her diagnosis, stage 4 brain cancer, which actually started as ovarian cancer, something she thought she beat 20 years ago.
I don't know. I guess I just got struck by lightning. It's kind of how I look at it now.
Following a series of appointments, including radiation treatment, Karen was unable to return to her retail job and would lose her health insurance. She says she will qualify for Medicare in 1 more year and plans to get back to the doctor at that time.
I don't really know a lot about the prognosis. I mean, I feel good. I can care for myself. I, do pretty good rattling around my little house. But there's definitely some lingering effects. I've got a little ways to go yet, I think.
Thanks for joining us. For several months now, the Coon Creek Watershed District has been evaluating options for a new headquarters location.
Karen was also unable to return to her part-time job here at CTN, a place she's worked for more than 2 decades. A lot of noise and bright lights bother her, something that she actually started noticing in the weeks before the seizure.
There was some signs. The lights were bugging me a lot at TV. Like, before we would go on, I would say to you, "Do you see that?" As I'm looking in the teleprompter, and you would always say, "No, see what?"
For now, Karen spends a lot of time at her home on Coon Lake. Her neighbors hired her to work a couple of hours, 3 days a week, at the general store in town. She says she's just grateful for each day and thanks everyone for their love and support.
The really optimistic part of me, which says, heck yeah, it's all good. But I also know now that being a 2-time cancer survivor and thinking I was good to go after not having a relapse for over 20 years, that, anything can happen, and it usually does. And I guess you just gotta roll with it. Could always be worse. Could always be worse.
Karen says she's gotten so much support over the last year, from food like soup and cookies to people plowing her driveway and cutting her hair. A GoFundMe account also raised more than $7,000 for her care. If you'd like to donate, we have a link on our website, ctncoonrapids.com. All of us here at CTN certainly wish Karen all the best in her recovery. We know she's a fighter, and all those prayers being sent her way will be answered. Finally, we have a quick programming note to pass along. We will not be doing a show next Friday, December 29th, due to the holidays. Our next show will start airing on Friday, January 5th, so be sure to join us again then. In the meantime, have a great Christmas and Happy New Year. We'll see you back here in 2018.